us. Let's head to New York. Let's speak to the Democrat Jimmy Van Bramer, who's the majority leader of the New York City Council, represents a district in Western Queens with a high number of Muslim residents. Welcome here to the program. Donald Trump has been saying it's time to end political correctness. We have a big problem and we've got to get to grips with it. Where is he wrong?
He's wrong in every way, and it's time to end demagoguery and the vilification of an entire religion and millions, if not billions, of people in our country and the world. Donald Trump is using Muslims as a scapegoat to try and win an election in this country. It is wrong on every level. It's morally wrong. It's also very dangerous for the very people that he seeks to represent.
You're saying he's using Muslims to win an election. This whole debate about using the phrase radical Islam, we heard the president saying it was a distraction, but the point that Donald Trump is trying to make is that in a way you have to identify the source of the threat if you're going to take on and defeat the threat.
Look, President Obama has been very clear on the fact that we understand the threat and we are trying to eliminate the threat. But what Donald Trump is trying to do is vilify every single Muslim and to try and propose a ban on every single Muslim, which is stupid and it's dangerous and it can't be done. Donald Trump has these proposals that are essentially the work of elementary school students. What he wants to do is try and make sure that there are no bad people that ever come into this country, or to make every single person good. But we've never been able to do that, and we never will.
But isn't there an element of truth about the notion if more people come, some will come with those leanings that lead to perhaps where we've ended up?
Look, this country is a nation of immigrants. It always has been, and it always will be. It is a democratic society. It is one that values freedom in every aspect. And so we have always had people come to this country, and the vast majority of them are good.
But the jihadist threat is new. The jihadist threat is new. You talk about a country built on immigrants. You're absolutely right, but the jihadi threat is new.
Yes, and I think our country is aggressively tackling the threats. Most Muslims in the world are peaceful, law-abiding people who love each other and others. There are some that are not. Clearly, we have a military and an intelligence service that is aimed at eliminating that threat. We are not silent. We are not resting on our laurels. Every single American is valued and needs to be protected, and the president wants that just as anybody else does. No one, President Obama included, wants anything to happen like what happened in Orlando. And for Donald Trump to say that the president is silent and that this government is not doing anything to eliminate the threat of terrorism is false and is a lie, and it is what Donald Trump does. He demagogues his way to get votes, and he lies every single step of the way. His values,
which is presumably why President Obama
was he's espousing is not.
It's presumably why President Obama was so angry. We took his comments that he was making yesterday live on this program 24 hours ago. He was talking, we cannot turn this into an Islam versus United States situation. That's what the terrorists would want. And yet, since Sunday's shootings, since the comments that Donald Trump has made, the polls indicate that the gap between Trump and Hillary Clinton has closed. His arguments appear to be getting some sort of traction.
Well, look, I think polls go up and down, and the true mark of a leader is how they respond to tragedies. 49 primarily LGBT people were slaughtered in Orlando, and as some of those bodies were still dead, lying on the floor of that club, this man sent out a tweet that essentially said, "I told you so." There are elementary school children who would have responded with more decency and respect than that. And so for him, Donald Trump, in this moment, to stoke fear and to instead of trying to bring people together in harmony to try and divide people and take advantage of this situation is wrong. So polls may go up or down, particularly at this moment.
I wonder if it's unfair of you to say he's stoking fear. There clearly is fear in the United States after what we saw over the weekend. The president was talking about it being un-American to, in a sense, say things that don't show tolerance and promote integration and the values that stand for America. But isn't it un-American not to keep its citizens safe? That's what Donald Trump is saying.
Well, it would be un-American not to try to keep every single American safe, but every single American, Republican or Democrat, this administration or otherwise, wants to keep every American safe. What I would say, though, going back to stoking fear, it is true that there is some fear in America. But it's what you do with that fear. It's what you do with this moment. That is what is so wrong about Donald Trump. That is what he is doing. He is taking that fear and stoking it. He is trying to make the flame much, much worse. And instead of trying to bring people together and to appeal to our commonalities, he is trying to divide. Again, Donald Trump does this every single chance he gets. He is not a leader. He is a politician who is trying to divide and stoke fears and take advantage of horrible tragedies like this one to get elected, and that is wrong.
He's a politician that can also pivot. Our correspondent was telling us only a few minutes ago that he was planning or is in the process of meeting with the NRA to say that people on a watch list shouldn't be able to buy a weapon over the counter like this man did. Is that movement?
Well, look, it shouldn't take the slaughter of 49 LGBT citizens in Orlando to get Donald Trump to that awakening. But I'll also just say that is a drop in the bucket. What Donald Trump should do is go to the NRA and say that what we need is to ban all assault weapons, all assault rifles in this country. No one in their right mind needs to possess the weapon that that man possessed and go into a club and kill that many people in that short a period of time. If Donald Trump really wants to do something meaningful on gun control and on this kind of reform, he should go to the NRA and make sure that all assault weapons are banned and that high-capacity clips are banned. That would make our country safer. We can't make sure that there are no bad people in the world, but we can make sure that bad people are less lethal, and that is the big failing. Okay. Donald Trump is in the pocket of the NRA, and this motion of his in the wake of Orlando is a small act from a small man trying to do horrible things.
Okay. Jimmy Van Bramer, thank you very much for being here on the program. Thanks for your time.